That's bad.
Alright, I think the day has finally come where we get back to work on the Fiero and get that thing finished up. So here is where it has sat basically all year. Quick little refresher, this started off life as a V6 4-speed car, and it needed brakes. So what did I do? I gutted the car and put a turbo LS in it, which lasted all of about 10 minutes until it kicked a rod and scattered metal throughout the entire oil pan. But this is another bone stock this time. LS4 out of, I think, like an 06, 07 Impala. I don't remember exactly. I got this back in the spring, I think. And I kept telling myself, one of these days, I'm going to get caught up on stuff and I can move the Fiero back in the garage to tear that apart and get it fixed. Well, today's that day. Not really sure how I'm going to move that thing yet. That's going to be fun. Got the car all hosed off. Still looks pretty good considering it's painted, I think in like 2018 or 2019, but it's definitely showing its age. Looks like something fell on it right there. All right, car is back in the garage. It's home until, fingers crossed, until it runs and drives out of here. So, before I go over the game plan, first I want to kind of refresh people's brains. This thing originally was a V6 4-speed car. Still has the same stock 4-speed. We got a spec, I believe, stage 3 clutch. 5.3 LS4. I think this one is out of a Grand Prix. And like I said earlier, the one over there is out of Impala. Fuel system's disconnected. There's no wiring harness in it because I robbed that for a buddy's S10. I think all I got to do is get it lifted up, get my cradle back out that I made for these things, and then undo the 4 bolts for the subframe, and then I can lift the body off of it. And then once we do that, I'll pull the turbo kit off of it, and then we'll get the motor out of it, got to switch the clutch and everything over to the new motor. While it's out, I might repaint things, because I'm not feeling the orange. To be honest, I didn't like it when I did it, but I was like, you know what, it's already done. We'll just live with it. All right, I'm gonna get this thing lifted up, get the cradle dug out, start tearing this thing apart, and we'll just see how far we can make it today. That wasn't too bad. especially since I never put the nuts back in on the front ones. I gotta figure this out. I need to get like another 90 here to go into that. So, looking at everything that I need to pull off this to reuse on the other motor, obviously the turbo kit, the water manifold, I want to use this timing cover. Yeah, this one has it over there, which, that might actually work fine. I might not have to touch that at all. But water manifold and turbo kit for sure. The alternator bracket right there. Oh, I got to drill that out on that one, don't I? That's not a big deal. I can do that once I get that up here. And then swap the motor mounts over and then the clutch. And I think we're good. So I'm going to start pulling this one apart real quick and get the engine hoist over here. And we'll get it lifted off this thing. And then we'll start getting the new one back in it. All right. I got the motor disconnected. And this is mostly like a note to future self. When I do this again, I think I want to put the oil pan on after the motor's sat in place. Because this sump right here is like right up against the frame rail there. Or the subframe, I guess. So I had to like tilt things. Like luckily this was rubber mounted still. These are new bushings, but they got a lot of flex to them. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to squeeze it up out of there. So if I put it back in, put the new one back in without a pan on it, I should be able to like drop it lower and squeeze it in there, make sure everything's lined up good. I got the alignment tool over there. And then once everything's bolted together here good, I can lift the front of the motor up and I should be able to sneak the pan in there. And if I can't, then I'm going to live with that regret. I can now bring the motor over here, or the engine. I know some people get real finicky about calling a motor. But I can bring it over here. Like I said, I got to pull the pan off of it. I think everything else I need is off of it. Obviously the starter's on the pan. And I need the clutch and flywheel. So I'm going to start swapping everything over and get this thing ready to go in there. Alright, let's see how the pan looks. Because I haven't looked in here in like a year. Oh! That's a lot of water. You can already see the chunks of metal. Yeah. So what I think happened, my best guess, is when I was first trying to get this motor started, I had the firing order in the tune wrong, just because it's a front-wheel drive motor. It's an LS4. They're weird. So I think it was like the distributor being 180 out in like an old small block Chevy. And then I was cranking it over, it wasn't firing, but it kept like coughing like it wanted to. So we sprayed some starting fluid in it, and then that ignited, and it started making a weird noise ever since then. So I think what happened is when I sprayed the starting fluid in there, it bent a rod, and then just over time, me trying to figure things out, it ended up coming apart. The windage tray seems unscathed. I almost put my hand in there. Yeah, that's a piston skirt right there. So I gotta dump all this out and get this cleaned very, very good. And I gotta pull the pickup tube off too. Alright, got the flywheel and clutch and everything off. Trying to not get my grubby hands on things as much as possible. And wouldn't you know it, it all still looks basically brand new. And you know, there's almost no other application that I can think of right now where this would work. But my mind just looks at this and sees, that'd be a good turbo kit. Except the exhaust comes out right there. But that manifold right there would be very, very good. Because that thing comes out like right here. Which I think it would block off the like normal water pump ports right there. But if you're not running those, I know a lot of people who block them off, it wouldn't be a big deal. So I'm probably going to hold on to this one, cut that off, and put a V-band on it. The rest of it can probably go in the scrap trailer, I guess. Alright, making some pretty good progress on the car. Got the oil pan pulled off, poured, I don't know, like a quart or so of Purple Power cleaner degreaser in there, and then sprayed it with the hose, mix it up. So I'm gonna let this sit overnight because it's getting a little dark out. And then perhaps tomorrow we can start getting that thing on there. So I will see you guys in the morning. 2017 transition. And it's the next day. So got the engine all painted and back together. Just went with the classic aluminum red valve covers. Painted the transaxle to match. Looks, whatever. Clutch is on. Basically just have to get that thing back in this cradle, which is proving difficult because this stand that I made has quite the childbearing hips. In hindsight, what I wish I had done is welded those crossbars like up here and then just had casters, like bigger casters right on the bottom legs. So maybe at some point I'll modify this, but hopefully after this time I'm not going to have to pull this back out. So I'm going to, I don't know if I need to set this on the ground, which I don't want to do that because that's going to be a pain. You know what I might do? I might take this all over to the door and use the tractor to pick that up because the tractor has a pretty far reach. I might do that. All right, I spent a week working on this thing last night and I finally got it all buttoned up this morning. But this thing is looking official, and it, minus the stock cam that's in this thing should be better than it's ever been. It certainly looks a lot better. Like I said, this thing is 99.9% ready to go back up in there, and that 0.1% is the spark plugs. This still has the stock spark plugs because I forgot to order plugs for it, and as I'm sure you guys can guess, it is way easier to do the plugs right here versus when they're way up here. So that is the main thing that is preventing this from going back up in the car right now. Everything else is good. I got the stock dipstick that I'm hoping will work here. I did bend it a little bit, but I think it might be like right up in there. So we'll see. And it took me forever last night trying to get the input shaft from the transmission lined up into the clutch because this thing was like 3 different angles. I had to like finagle the engine and oil pan down into the cradle while also trying to line that up with the transmission. It was a mess. I had to spin the cam sensor because this plug was originally up here, but I don't think it can go anywhere. I was thinking I might make like a bracket that bolts to this and then goes to the block there, which I might still do because it would just have to be like a little Z bracket or something, but I don't think that thing can come out. Got the alternator mounted, had to drill out this hole, drilled this one out a little bit, but that's good. You can see the aluminum everywhere. The hammer does not need to go with the motor. Somehow the turbo still feels really good. I thought I would have bet money this thing was destroyed because it's been basically sitting out in the rain for like 9 months. But it feels real good. Anyway, that is probably going to do it for today. Waiting on some plugs and whatever else I just said. I got the memory of a gnat right now. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are stoked to see the Fiero back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and clicking that bell to get notifications. I'll see you guys next time.